Welcome everyone to the 2017 WRT Lifetime Denver Open. We're in for quite a treat. Not only do we have Alex Cardona and Jake Bredenbeck battling it out on the courts, but we have David Bobby Horn on the mic to take us all the way through to the end. Welcome, Bobby.
Thanks for having me.
It's 0-0 right now in game one.
That ball definitely didn't make it. I don't think that shot was good, and Jake kind of second-guessed it too. No call by Diaz. This is actually my most anticipated match that I wanted to watch here in the quarters. Diaz and Priya were my second. This one's going to be fun because the ball's going to be flying at 1,000 miles per hour. It's a tough shot.
It's a great example of that power out there on the court. Alex Cardona and Jake Bredenbeck have matched up 12 times previously on the WRT. We saw this a lot, especially in like 2015 when these guys were in the battle for #1.
Yeah, I think Jake took over one week, right?
Yeah, he was #1 for a short amount of time, and then
he took an early loss and lost it, and he couldn't really gain it back. He was really close for a long time there.
And Cardona holds the winning record in their series 8-4.
So this match revolves around one thing here, and that's Jake's drive serve. If he gets it in, I'm picking Jake. If not, I think Cardona has the edge in most of the rallies, and I hope Mrs. Bredenbeck's not watching and hearing me say that. But
oh, I'm sure Karen Bredenbeck's watching. Shout out to the Bredenbeck family.
And I'm supposed to be unbiased in this match, but I definitely want Jake to win as well. So it's very clear.
And that is your teammate, right?
Yep, he's one of my better friends in the world. So. And there it is. That's what I'm talking. I practiced with him right before the tournament, and he was hitting the serve way too hard. I didn't know what to do with it.
Especially for coming back pretty recently, only a couple tournaments under his belt. It's going to make it 4-1.
Not that practice with Jake before the tournament helped me, but we won't get on. Again, that's 3 served bombs to the left side. And I actually told Jake while we were practicing, I said, dude, you should I'm not so sure about that. Diaz calling a skip ball. I told Jake that he probably should just serve 90% drive serves to the left corner because it's that good, and even if they know it's coming, it's really, really hard to return. I know I was sitting on it a lot in practice and waiting for that serve. It's still extremely, extremely, extremely hard to return because it's coming with so much pace. Cardona doing Cardona things, just calm, cool. Never looks like he's trying too hard. And at the same time, playing his behind off as he hits a little unforced error off of Jake's missed serve.
Yeah, 5-1, Bredenbeck leading. It is hard to rattle Cardona. Certainly not saying it can't be done, but he does have that cool composure you're talking about.
It's a great shot. Yeah, it's interesting to see Cardona play. He only has a few moments where he kind of loses composure or he starts coming out of it. And usually when he starts losing a game, he won't lose composure as far as with himself, but he'll start talking to the ref a little more. And like the ref's almost screwing him over kind of thing. And he uses it to his advantage. Sometimes it gets him back in the match. It's an interesting little thing that he does that we've all noticed. I've noticed when I played so much against him and watched him play so much over the years. But that's when you know Cardona feels like the match is slipping away from him. That's
like his tell.
Yeah, that's his tell.
He doesn't show too much.
Oh, good serve. Great serve. Jake barely got his racket on it. Gets a nice little replay there. It's going to leave a bruise even though he flicked it with only the wrist.
Our referee is Jose Diaz, who played in the previous quarterfinal against Andre Padilla.
Jake's moving really, really well right now. Very clean footwork, moving the ball, not having to reach or lunge too much, and hitting the ball very well so far. There's that power. This could be a little bit of troubles for Cardona. It's really hard to catch up with that serve. It's coming in hot. Terrible shots. 2 terrible shots. And I really don't like the serve to the forehand for Jake right now. I know he's trying to mix it up, but I just don't think it's necessary. His one to the backhand, I think he's scored probably 80% of his points that he's gotten into that left side.
4 serving 2.
No, definitely not 4-2.
No.
I think Jake has 5, so.
3 serving 6.
Oh,
3
6.
serving 6.
Close, though.
Thanks.
The altitude, obviously, having an effect on Alora. She can't keep score.
It's clogging up my ears.
Exactly. And there's a bomb
Wow.
in its own from Cardona. Cardona trying to match the power. Something to note is the altitude here is making that ball move a little quicker. On top of that, these guys both hit the ball
Ridiculously hard. Yeah, it's interesting to see like a power versus power matchup. What does it really come down to then? I mean, you talked about really driving those serves, but is it then shot selection is next most important, or like what's number 2?
If you're doing power versus power, honestly, I think who has the better shot selection and who can be more accurate with that power at the same time.
6-4.
And it's really, really easy to overhit in the altitude. I know that firsthand from today. So if you overhit in altitude, the ball will come off a lot, and your opponent gets a lot of easy setups, especially against high-level players that read well.
Wow. Bredenbeck just putting it down.
Bredenbeck says, screw your overhitting comment. I'm just going to overhit and roll it instead.
He's going to make it 7-4 in game 1.
Am I allowed to say screw on the broadcast? Is that a bad word?
No, I think it's allowed by the FCC.
Okay, cool. We're good.
Alex Cardona with 12 WRT titles, the most in WRT history. And Jake Bredenbeck with 3 of his own.
Jake only has 3, huh? It's amazing to me.
Yeah,
Injury kind of sets him back a little bit. He's made a lot of finals. A lot.
he has.
I feel like he should have definitely should have had one more short serve. No? Ooh, and skip ball. I think Cardona thought that was short as well.
7 serving 4.
Yeah, and I think actually Jake's injury is actually going to help him a lot to help him become a better player. It's already working right now. He's taken his off-court game to another level and very prepared to play. And I think he's just playing a little smarter and not swinging out of his shoes every point. He can't, or his shoulder will fall apart. So I predict a few tournament wins for Jake coming forward. This is a good example of everybody overhitting a little bit on that rally. All the balls staying up. And then Jake obviously not accurate on that last shot, putting that ball to the floor with an unforced error.
So we're looking at some of the finals that Bredenbeck has made. Let's see if we can do some quick math. He's been in 32 tournaments and he's reached 13 finals.
That's a lot of finals. How many have I made?
And he has 3 WRT titles. Pull up Horn stats.
Not that I'm relevant in this match at all. I'm just curious for my own liking.
You've played 42 WRT events and reached 7 finals.
It's better than I thought.
And you have 2 WRT titles.
It's not bad.
We'll get a score update.
That's a great serve. That serve is dangerous. That's actually the serve that had Cardona at 1 for a long time. That front wall ground directly in that corner, it dies in the corner. He gets a perfect angle. It's kind of what we're all striving for when we hit a drive serve. You can mix that in with the angle. Nice get. Oh, didn't make it. Great shot by Jake. Yeah, that serve really, Cardona's made a lot of money on that serve. It's good angle, hits it hard. Similar to what Landa does when he comes in and serves. He doesn't try to hit it too low, too flat. It's real solid in that corner as Jake pounds one into the same corner. Oh, that's great stuff.
Nice get.
Oh.
Ooh.
Jake might have given him a little glance there, too.
Might have.
Yeah. He gave him a little look like, go get that one. Flexed on him one time, too.
Puts Bredenbeck up now by 1. It's 8-7. Yeah, I know a lot of people in the crowd were looking forward to this match just based on the reputation and the power between these two guys. And for those who maybe don't know, formerly we were talking about Bredenbeck's injury. He had torn his labrum in his right shoulder.
And there's that corner. Again, that serve right there, Jake probably can win this match just by hitting that serve only and not even mixing it up. It's coming in too hard and too solid as we get our first time out of the first game.
Cardona calls that timeout. We'll be back in just a moment with more of the World Racquetball Tour. We're back with a point for Jake Bredenbeck. Alex Cardona calling that timeout. It's 10-7.
10-7. It's a great wide angle by Cardona. Just perfectly executed. Front wall, side wall in the air, behind Jake, where Jake has no chance of getting it. And again, that serve to the forehand side, he ends up losing the point. His percentages are very low as far as scoring points on the right side. Great get. Great shot.
Serving 10.
8 serves 10 for Alex Cardona. We looked at Bredenbeck's winning record and Horn's winning record. Let's take a look.
God, how many
yeah.
has the Cardona made?
Let's take a look at Cardona's tournament winning
It's gonna make me feel
percentage.
bad.
He has the most titles on the tour with 12. He's entered 45 events with 12 titles.
Hold on, how
But he
many
has a
finals he made?
.26 overall winning percentage. That doesn't sound right, right?
It's about right.
Yeah? Okay. 12 out of 45.
That's a lot of tournaments. It's tough. Jake's hitting the ball clean right now. He's not trying to do anything special, and kind of taking his time a little bit more here. Seems to be settling down a little bit as far as setups go.
11-8.
Oh, and if he can get that serve in, it's going to be troubles. Just a little short on it every time right now. Again, serving to the forehand, loses the point.
He's telling himself to be smart as he walks to the back of the court.
8, serving 11.
Coming up after this, we have Rodrigo Montoya, #1 on the WRT, against Mauro Rojas from Stockton, California.
Off the back wall? No. Good ceiling ball. Cardona looked like he overswung a little bit there. A little uncharacteristic of Cardona. Usually stays pretty much within himself. Give him easy setup for Jake. Jake calmly putting it down on the left side. I like what I'm seeing from Jake. Cardona needs to really like settle down and hit some better angles and more control. And another short serve from Jake. It's great stuff. Again, Jake looking really calm.
12, serving 8.
And hitting the ball very clean. Even on the backhand side.
Are you by chance hinting that the backhand is maybe not his strongest shot?
Oh, that's his forehand's money.
so-
That is. Skip ball. And that's a better played rally. Cardona could use a timeout if he has one. Kind of regather himself. Definitely kind of want to see him come back a little bit. Again, Miss Bredenbeck, I'm sorry.
Yeah, see Cardona keep the pressure on Bredenbeck.
That serve is money.
Ooh,
Jake wins this match if he serves this that well. Period. I think I called that early on, though.
You
as well,
did.
so.
we caught that on that front camera angle, so you saw like the way that it came off and how Cardona tried to adjust to it. That's a killer serve.
And that's a great time for it, too. He hit about 4 or 5 shorts before that, and that might be a little bit of confidence booster there going into the second game here, assuming he wins this. Another short serve, but it's a little closer than before.
Here's Cardona's chance to put that pressure back on Bredenbeck.
Karen Bredenbeck, I love you. I don't mean anything I'm saying. It's racquetball fan. Ooh, that was a good serve. Wow. Great shot by Jake. Reverse pinch, a little bit of crack action on the left corner there. And here comes something about 170, I'm calling. To the left side. Jake's going to throw his whole body into it. Boom. Ooh, a little off speed, actually. And well played by Jake. Took a little off that serve to get it in. And he takes first game 15-8.
Yeah, didn't catch the very end of that. We'll get an updated score for you when we return with Game 2. This is the WRT in Denver. We're back at the WRT Lifetime Denver Open. I'm Laura McCormick, and David Horn is joining me on the mic. We're watching Jake Bredenbeck serving against Alex Cardona in Game 2.
Cardona wants a screen serve. I actually thought it was a screen serve. No call, resulting in a point for Jake. Cardona has to make sure this is the moment that we were talking about. If he feels like the match starts to get out of his hand, he'll start talking to the ref a little too much, and then it kind of throws him off his game. And if I'm Cardona's coach here, I'm really, really preaching not to make too many mistakes and be a little more accurate and get Jake moving around a little too much. Cardona's going for that pinch, and Jake is, I thought it was good. From this angle, it was hard to see. Short serve. Cardona has to get him moving. He's going for the kill, and Jake's moving too well right now. He gets everything in the front court. As Jake hits a perfect Z serve to the backhand. Wow.
Ooh.
Everything's going Jake's way right now.
Yeah, he breaks out with a 3-0 lead in Game 1.
3, serving 0.
Gets a fortunate screen call on point 1 and then gets a crack for the third point. Wow. Oh, great get.
Oh, wow, he picked that up.
Pinch.
Ooh.
That's a great rally by Cardona. Had Jake move a little bit. He actually made a very, very good return. Got it down the line. Jake had to stab at it.
Yeah, I feel like I was expecting Cardona to come out really strong, but I mean, Jake came out pretty killer, and he turned it up on that last rally. I think we're going to see something real here. Keeps it up.
Bold move by Cardona going to that forehand 3 times in a row. Especially Jake's forehand. Jake's forehand is too good. I feel like he should probably just keep that on the left side as Jake skips one on the left side.
1-3, Cardona serving.
Oh! What are the chances of that happening? Just landed right on top of the camera.
It is rare. That's kind of why we have it there, but we'll reserve that one.
Court hinder?
1-3. Yep.
If that was, if that was a fair game, that's definitely a teddy bear right there, landed right on top of it.
3 serving 1. See if Alex Cardona can turn it up. He has a killer serve. He's known for his wicked serving as well. He did have 1 or 2 aces against Bredenbeck in game 1.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, Laura. I have something like buzzing in my ear on the earphones. I apologize. It's very, very annoying. Hold on, let's get that fixed real quick.
It is pretty busy out here in Denver. It's the WRT's first time in the Mile High City, and we're happy to be here at the Lifetime Fitness in Centennial, Colorado. We have a great crowd here, a great crowd filling out the courts here at Lifetime Fitness. There's 4 courts. It's a 130,000 square foot facility, a resort-sized swimming pool. This place is huge.
This place
20
is
tennis courts.
ridiculous.
It's beautiful.
Gigantic, and then we actually have a pretty good turnout here right now at the tournament. We're about 45, 50 deep watching the match right now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we got a good crowd.
Oh, and Cardona had a chance at that ball. Thought it was broken, didn't make that last step.
Not too much movement in the points right now. These two keeping it pretty even. It's 3 serving 1.
Oh, that's a bomb. That serves great.
Ooh.
And these earphones that have something buzzing in my ear really, really bad.
We have been having a lot of sound issues so
Yeah.
far, so we're happy to be up online. We'll get that fixed for you,
Oh wait, that's
Bobby.
just Pablo.
Another point for Bredenbeck. 5-1. I just said these guys were keeping it pretty even, and then Bredenbeck gets 2 killer serves in a row.
And oh my God, that's a great return. I was gonna say, and if you hit serves like that, it's gonna be over real quick. And
Cardona is snapping it and making an adjustment against Bredenbeck to put himself back in a scoring position.
I like that terminology. Snap, a little flick of the wrist.
1 serving 5.
Oh my goodness.
One of my favorite things about watching Cardona is just like his cool and calm attitude. I talk about it all the time. You mentioned it already, but you know, he doesn't give too many looks, not too many smiles.
Oh, and Cardona not keeping his focus there. Oh, and Jake giving it to him. Very nice sportsmanship move right there. They're going screen serve, I believe. Yeah,
Okay,
so Jake's
it's
giving
his
him the
second
screen
serve.
serve, even though he won that point. Yeah, Cardona kind of stopped. Wow.
Well, I guess a little bit of karma, right? I mean, it was nice of Bredenbeck to kind of return that to Cardona, but he gets the win in the end.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have you give yourself about 20 setups and see if you can hit one of those. Jake Bredenbeck Challenge 2017. Ceiling ball to your forehand. See if you can flat roll one with your forehand. Post it to Jake's Facebook page.
Yeah, that should be a Facebook challenge. Everybody.
Best shot that you hit, Jake will sign one of a Gearbox hat and mail it to you. I just volunteered him for that. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hashtag Jake Bredenbeck Challenge 2017. Or Hash Browns. Oh, and another serve to the forehand, and another point lost. I think he's maybe won 1 point to the forehand side. Cardona's forehand obviously on today. He hasn't missed too many. He is with the short serve call. It's a great move. Jake had a chance to hold up there and maybe get an avoidable hinder. Instead, he boxes him out, gets big, and rips a forehand down the line.
6-2, Bredenbeck leading.
Great return.
2, serving 6.
Cardona hanging tough here. If he keeps holding them to a point at a time, he can make one run here and be back in the game, and all of a sudden we have ourselves a match.
Yeah, that's what we like to see too. We see those players digging themselves out of holes a little bit, and Cardona's no exception. He's been in this position before.
Jeez.
So you were talking about how Bredenbeck's injury could help him now. What did you mean by that?
So before Jake, everybody at home, most people at home have seen Jake play, and before he used to swing out of his shoes, and I saw him in almost crying. I know it sounds crazy. I've seen him in almost crying pain in his forearm and his shoulder before he had the injury because he swung so hard. And now he actually has to stay within himself. He knows if he swings too hard, that shoulder can really, some bad stuff can happen. So now he's using his body more, and his mechanics are a lot better. He's really focused on his mechanics. I know that I've been around him a little bit, and I think it's just going to help him be more efficient, you could say. And a little smarter. I think it's just good for him. And the other reason I say that is because I had a surgery on my labrum, and before I actually used to dive more than I do now. I used to dive 6 times a rally, and I had the surgery, and I became a better player because of it. So
Forces you to kind of look at things differently.
I can say that out of experience as well. It makes you kind of look at racquetball different. Like, if I make that dive, so notice Jake's not diving anymore either because it's very risky for the shoulder. So you start thinking about things that aren't good for your body and what you can do to great serve. Skip ball. Yeah, what you can do, you're really focused on what you can do to play better racquetball without having to do so much, like swing hard or dive or do stuff out of the ordinary that you don't need to do. So it's helped Jake out a lot so far.
Yeah, and Jake was able to avoid surgery so far, so I'm sure that's a path he wants to stay on in terms of his recovery.
Absolutely, and there's a rare point serving to Cardona's forehand. I can't tell the inside info about this thing to the forehand side, but I've been talking to Jake in between timeouts.
Okay. Let's see if I can get an update on the score for the next serve. I'm surprised we haven't seen a timeout from Cardona. I mean, he doesn't normally call many of them.
Oh, and right on cue, Laura
there
McCormick.
It is.
She knows racquetball, ladies and gentlemen.
Reading him.
She's been around for a couple years. Let's give her a round of applause.
Well, you can hold it for the players. We'll be back in a moment with more of WRT in Denver. Welcome back, everyone. It's the quarterfinals. Alex Cardona calling that timeout. Jake Bredenbeck with a big lead so far in game 2. Bredenbeck winning game 1 15-8. I'm joined by David Horn, and we are at the WRT Lifetime Denver Open. It's 10-2, I think I heard him say.
Jeez, Jake really on a. Oh, and Cardona with another unforced error. Jake really taking Cardona out of his game today. You don't really see. I mean, Cardona's obviously a great player. He's number 2 on the tour. He has most titles, like you said. You don't see him out of his game like this very often. I think it just shows how well Jake's playing here, and a little bit of this altitude might be having a little effect here. Jake's hitting that serve really, really hard here, and the ball's moving quick, so that might be taking Cardona out of his game as well. So hats off to Jake for playing really well so far, but it's not over.
Jake is playing really well. I think one thing for Cardona, I'll let them play. My observation on Cardona is he's such a natural player, and he was able to dominate for so long without maybe really having to do like serious intensive racquetball training. I think that's been a weakness of his. He's been able to rely on his natural racquetball and athletic ability. He's an incredible athlete. So now with a lot of the youngsters and people starting to put new pressure, and Montoya taking over the #1 spot, I think despite, you know, like Jake had an injury to kind of reassess his training. And so maybe this is a bit of Cardona's wake-up call, right? He needs to change up some things as he goes into this next stage of his career.
And it happens to all the players. You'll notice players will have ups and downs of all sorts. It's sports. It's kind of tough to kind of stay up top like that.
Yeah, you gotta keep it adapting, right?
I mean, there's one guy in the world right now that's doing it, and it's ridiculously impressive. So it's a rough sport to play full time all year long, and if you can play consistent all year long, you're a beast, period.
The beast is leading 12-3.
And I think that's a good observation. I think Cardona will reevaluate, and I think he might be training a little bit more from what I hear.
Right.
But he'll have to make some changes. Everybody's training really, really hard these days. All these guys are starting to see what they can do on tour, and with racquetball, a lot of the Mexican players are training really hard to make the team. And we have a couple USA guys like Daniel and Diaz coming and playing more tournaments. It's gonna stir things up a little bit. And I know myself, I've been at home training really hard to try to get ready to play as well, make some changes. 2 titles in a couple of years is not good for me, so I think all the other guys are thinking the same thing.
But I like the competitiveness, and it seems like you guys pushing each other too, right, to keep being better and growing the sport. And I think we've seen a really big resurgence in racquetball, and we're really hoping to keep that going. So for all you fans and players at home, keep playing, keep spreading the word about the WRT, and we hope to see you out at more events. You can check out our full schedule at worldracquetballtour.com. Our next USA stop is in Atlanta, September 14th, and next weekend we'll be in San Luis Potosí for the La Loma Open.
Yeah, and those at home who are watching on Facebook Live, go ahead and just press that share button. I know we have 113 people watching right now, what it looks like, on Facebook Live only, not including the website. But if you're watching on Facebook Live, you should press the share button. I see only 63 shares. There's 100 people watching on Facebook Live right now. It's unacceptable. I will come to your house.
I'm going to hit my share icon now.
There we go. Wow, great shot by Cardona. Let's get a score count here. Cardona, I think he's got, yeah, there we go, 2 points. I didn't say he's got a couple points there. Sitting next to
4-12.
Colorado local Matt Maelster. I don't know if he's shared the feed yet. All right, we're good. He can sit next to me still.
That's a thumbs up. He can stay.
Cardona seems a little more focused right now. His body language is he wants to try to dig back into this match. Wow. Yeah, and it's what we really want to see from all the players. We don't want to see players not giving effort to the last point. It just shows the character of Cardona, really trying to make a last one. This match is looking almost out of reach for him, and he's still battling as hard as he possibly can.
Yeah, I like that aspect of Cardona's playing style.
Wow. Jake with the jumping overhead. I'm not exactly sure what that was. Lasso forehand.
Peculiar Jake shot.
Yes. 13 serving 4. Second game. Jake Bredenbeck sees the light at the end of the tunnel. The ace right there.
Ooh, goes to that backhand as recommended by Horn. 14 serving 4. Match point now for Jake Bredenbeck.
This is coming hard. Jake Bredenbeck with 14 always hits the ball hard.
Between the legs.
Oh, Cardona should have followed that to lose this rally. Yep, bye-bye.
Oh, what a get!
And then he proves everybody wrong. And digs
Sliding
himself back in that
backhand
rally.
get. Oh my God.
Amazing.
Oh, and he kind of did like what I would call like a Rodrigo Montoya. He just like threw his racket out and managed to get it.
He might have let go of that racket midair right there. Very impressive. Again, showing how much he wants to stay in this match. Down 14-4 and still all over the place on his knees trying to get to the ball. Cardona yelling.
Yeah,
Rare.
a rare declaration from Cardona. Second match point now for Jake Bredenbeck.
Oh, short serve call. Jake giving his doubles partner a real dirty look.
Yeah, that was a scary look.
Not only are they doubles partners, they're actually sleeping in the same bed tonight, and he's not going to hear the end of that one.
But at least they're keeping it fair, right?
Still looking at him. Jake's still looking at him. One more look. No. Second serve. It's going to the right side. Match point number 2 right there. Missed.
Yep. Cardona holds him off.
How many timeouts does Cardona take this game? 0?
I believe he only took one so far.
he
He did take one.
Boom. Cardona serve a little bit off the back wall. Jake running around to that forehand and flat rolling it. Great shot. Match point number 3 for Jake Bredenbeck. People here at the club asking for a crack ace. Jake will not go for crack ace, I don't think. Oh, bomb. Oh, he got it.
Oh.
He got it.
Another.
No, he didn't
No,
get it.
he didn't?
2 bounces.
All right. All
Great
right,
match.
that's game. Wow.
Well played, Jake Bredenbeck. He played about as perfect as you can against a guy like Cardona. Served out of his mind, and he is in our first semifinal tomorrow or second?
Let me check that.
He's in our first because he beat number 2.
That's right. Jake Bredenbeck will face Andres Acuna tomorrow in the semifinals at 11 a.m. Mountain Time.
Beautiful.
Coming up next, we'll find out who'll play Andre Padilla in the semifinals. Will it be Rodrigo Montoya or Mauro Rojas? Don't go anywhere. That's our next quarterfinal coming up on the WRT Lifetime Denver Open.